Hey guys, it's Alyssa and Jeremy here with Wicked Whiskers, and we weren't able to get on the water this week, so figured we'd do a video about some of the catfish rigs that we've been using to catch some of these catfish on today.
Yeah, so we'll start out with anchor fishing. I got a few different setups I like to use anchor fishing. Let's see, we made some here to show you guys. So this is just pretty typical, easy. Got a three-way up there. I got these clips that I buy that I put on for the weights. You get them on Amazon, they're pretty cheap. Just a little short foot and a half lines all I use, but this is just a typical bottom rig. Of course, use whatever hook you like using, but I personally use Nocturnal Nation, and I do have a discount code, so make sure you check them out. This is a 9/0 Eclipse circle hook. But yeah, we just go down to that and use whatever size hook you need for the situation you're in. You know, if the water's colder, you're going to be using smaller baits, and if you're targeting different species like big blue catch, you want to upgrade your hook a little bit. But that's just a typical easy bottom rig. And I do have another one that on some days I don't like to use any weight. They're being finicky biters, and I literally just have it with no weight. Same situation. And then one of my favorite things to do in the springtime is bobber fishing.
Bobber fish.
Especially around trees and shallow structure. I'll set this 1.5 feet deep. I will not use circle hooks personally. I mean, this is technically a hybrid. It's a pig sticker from Nocturnal Nation. I don't use circle hooks because I'm like a little kid when I see that bobber go down. I just yank it out of the water.
Yank it?
Yeah. So,
but I like how you have it set, how you explained why you...
Yeah, I do it this way because I do cast in a lot of structure. So I don't want, like, a lot of guys will have it where some line's hanging down like this, the weight's up here, and then you have that line hanging around hitting those trees and that. So I made it where I use a pyramid weight. By the way, check out Jay's Weights. That's where I get all my lead from. Great guy. And I just put it right down on the hook there. The bobber's right down. And you got your beads and then your stop. So when you cast out and it hits the water, it drops down here. Say there's a branch or a tree right here, I could reel in really quick and it pops right over. I don't have to worry about this hanging down and reeling through that branch. So that's the reason I do that way.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Because I do a lot of that.
Yeah.
When I want to target flat. And like, I have a little rig here, but this is just a short guy. I've actually been using really, really long rigs, but just to kind of fit it in the video, I made a shorter one. Which this, I would actually use a short one like this in the canals that we fish because it's or anchor fishing, because I don't want it, I want it to just kind of pop up from those rocks. And if we have, I'm someone who kind of follows the moon phases. I've known I've talked about it a few times, but a lot of times I believe when it's real dark outside, like a new moon, they can't see, so I'll use a lot of vibrations and scent. So I'll have maybe a live bait with a cut bait. That's why I always have two. I'll use my stinger to put in either one big piece of bait, or I'll use two separate ones, just depending if I want to see what hook they're biting on, a smaller one or a bigger one. But I also like to just catch any fish, so I always like to have my smaller hook on there so I can catch anything at all.
And do you just clip the weight to the...
I do, so it depends what, yeah. So I always have a clip on here so I could just switch out my weights depending on, I mean, I've even used these. I don't like to use a float if I am just suspending. I'll use my anchor or my ball weight if I'm suspending, but I don't like to use float on those ones. I will leave the float out, but other than that, I'll use a lot of no rolls with clips. I'll put on there, and then dragging weights too.
Yeah.
But again, if I'm dragging, my rigs are much longer than this.
And then similar to what Alyssa uses is probably her and I probably use the same thing when we're dragging or pulling. I'm sure a lot of guys use the same thing, but it's pretty much set up just like that. The difference is you'll use a dragging weight usually. I prefer these Dirty South weights. There's lots of options out there. You don't have to pigeonhole yourself into one option. Try out and see what works for you. But I really like those Dirty South weights. Also, there's other options for floats too. This is by far the cheapest option, and honestly, to me, is just as effective as the more expensive options. They just look nicer, and they are nice and loud, and they have the rattle on them, so you don't necessarily have to add a rattle. Like, here's a different style rattle I have yet to use. They look like they might work pretty good in current and spin. But typical rattles people use. Yeah, I like these, and they're cheap. But you have, of course, Demon Dragon, the original, came out with these. They're pretty loud. I've also had where I've made my own. They're not as loud, but they work. And then Demon Dragon also came out with these bigger ones called the Brute that float a little bit higher.
That was cool though, because they glow.
Yeah.
Like
these Nocturnal Nation ones, if you light up the bottom, they'll glow. And I think they have a few other types that do the same thing. So, but yeah, there's just a few different options you can use for your float and your rattle. Get this out of the way, and of course, you got 2 hook rigs, and then you could also set it up where you just have the one hook. Here's the one I got set up. And it's just one hook, and this one I have extra rattle with it and the Demon Dragon. Another thing I really like that Alyssa does is puts these bobber stops on the ends so your stuff can't slide around and you don't have to worry about this knocking down by your hook. So that's a really good idea. I think a lot of people are going to start doing that. So
I do like it because I think it keeps everything kind of separate.
Yeah.
But I know I'm still kind of trying out different things. I did get some Demon Dragons. I haven't used them yet because they're so pretty and I'm scared I'm going to get them stacked right away and lose them. So I haven't actually used these yet, and I think they're ones that aren't as loud. I think it's all about the vibration, honestly.
Yeah. And you can add.
I mean, I know a lot of guys that won't even use their fish finder once they're on fish because they're scared that's gonna scare them away, just that little tick. So I'm sure they can hear that.
There is another option too. I don't have a bottle over here. Leland, grab your bottle.
Yeah.
There's another option out there. A couple guys I know down in Kansas make these. These are bottle bobbers. I actually have a video on my channel of actually me and Leland using them out on Branched Oak. Yeah, you remember that? But everyone has bottles in their boat, whether they're drinking water, pop, whatever. So you have these on your boat. You literally just pop it over a bottle here. And you can run your line through the hole here like a slip bobber rig and use beads, Or you can literally put the line in and pinch it with this little plunger thing to make it a stationary bobber. And that works really well too, especially on really windy days. If there's a bank you want to hit, you get that blowing right up against that shore there. These bottles move really quick through the water. You can also help your casting distance by filling them up with a little bit of water. But they're a good option too to have out there on the water.
I think that'd be fun.
It is. We'll definitely have to get some footage of them in use. They're really good guys. But other than that, I mean, it's just basically changing a few things up for whatever rig you want to use.
You said you like this color, this curl color the best.
Yes.
Why?
I just think with the flashiness, like it will mimic bait fish, little minnows, shiners, whatever, flashing in the water and then with the noise. So I just think that. Now I do notice they do wear out quicker. The coating will wear out, but they're cheap enough. I just replace them. And then on the river, or in heavy current situations, we use these chain swivels. There's an option, and I also got these new ones I haven't really tried out yet. I'm gonna give them a try. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You just change out and try different things.
I'm gonna put this line to use.
Yep.
I just got this new line, and you guys, I swear by it. That's what I've been making my rigs out of, and I'm really excited for Jeremy to try it out and see what he thinks about it.
Yeah.
So,
And I guess since I got it up here right now, I know a lot of you might know this tip, but this is a good tip to keep your line secure. Just get a koozie, put your line inside of it, and the line pulls out. That's
I
easy
love
enough.
that.
But yeah, I've seen a lot of guys doing it, and
I love
works really
that.
well.
A couple different versions, I guess. So
Yeah,
maybe we'll have to do a video on different knots that we use. That'd be kind of interesting. So I didn't realize there was so many different ways to tie those. Gosh, they're having a blast with the rattles. Kids and cats. I guess here's one that's more like the rigs that I make and sell, but they're long, much longer. So
yeah, she's gonna start selling rigs. It's gonna be called Catfish Rigs.
Fish rigs, you guys.
Look forward to that coming up.
Yes.
Just kind of refining everything.
Just kind of testing everything out. We're experimenting with everything and seeing what works and what doesn't. We've come a long way, but I think there's much more to learn and improve on, and we're gonna have fun doing it. That's all I know. Just say.
Yeah, so there's a few different rigs we use. I'm sure we use other random rigs that we haven't even thought of just sitting here making this video. Experiment, see what works for you. We'll probably update some other time when fishing's slow, but we're hoping to get back on the water soon. So keep an eye out for some videos. I know we're going to travel around a few places this coming year. So
yeah, we'll definitely find open water sooner than later. We can't stay off of it that long.
Right.
1 week's too much.
Yeah, way too much.
So we'll figure it out. Thanks for joining us today, you guys. Hopefully this video helps you, and let us know what else you'd like to learn. Give us some ideas, and maybe we can try and help you out with any of the tips that we have learned along our journey.
Yeah, for sure.
That sounds a lot of ever.